Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and captains everywhere, and everybody on the interwebs. This is the Jay-Z Sports Report. It's 1 o'clock, so it's time to talk sports.
Woohoo!
I'm John Rector. This is my co-host, Zach Piggott, over here.
What's up?
And we're going to talk a lot of things. We got a couple things to discuss today. We have football.
Yep.
We have a little bit of basketball.
Yep. That we do.
We have, for the first time, I think I'm going to bring up a small story about baseball.
Whoa. Whoa, that's
yeah.
crazy. That's crazy, John. I don't remember the last time you ever brought up a story about baseball, period.
Hey, I both know nothing about baseball and dislike the sport. So,
But you go see the Tides play every summer, don't you?
yeah, I try to go. Here's the thing: baseball, awful
Yeah.
to watch on television.
Yep.
Pretty fun environment to
True
go
that.
to. Nice,
True that.
chill environment to go to with friends or with family. Go
I agree
see a
with
nice
that.
Tides game. But before all that, we have to start with NHL because Zach, we are out of the single digits in terms of games remaining for I think every team now.
Yeah, pretty
So-
much. I think at most it's like 10 games, I think, for some teams, but most are at the 9 to 7 range now.
Yep, and a couple of teams, a couple interesting stories. Washington, the Capitals, last night, they clinched the Eastern Conference, so
What a
they
team.
now have the first overall seed in the entire East. I don't think they've clinched the best record in the NHL. I think the Stars
No.
could still theoretically overtake
They
them.
could theoretically overtake them, but the way the Caps are playing, though, it's going to be the Caps. The Caps are going to win the President's Trophy this
Yeah,
year.
it absolutely looks like they're going to win the regular season. Like I said, the road through the Stanley Cup runs in Washington
Until they lose.
until they lose. That's right.
I still think they're going to lose in the second or third. I don't think they're making it to the finals.
You think so?
I think so.
A couple of weeks ago, I agreed with you, but I've gotten the chance to see them play a couple times, and I watched a few highlights. They're a really, really sound team offensively and especially defensively.
I agree with that. They are the best regular season team, bar none. But the playoffs are a different beast entirely, and that's been proven multiple times. It doesn't matter who the best team is. They can go down very easily. I remember a couple years ago, back in 2010 or 11, I think, the Ducks were the 1 seed in the West, and they got swept by Detroit. And Detroit went on, I think, to go to the Western Conference Finals, I think, that year. And there's a couple years ago, and a couple years before that, 2009 or 8, the Ducks were the 8 seed, and they were the first 8 seed in NHL history to beat the 1 seed. So anything is possible in the playoffs. I know that much.
It's definitely one thing is for certain. I know neither of us can wait for the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
NHL playoffs are going to be really good this year,
And they're going to be great this year.
especially in the Western Conference, because like we said, the Eastern Conference, there's a couple of threats: Florida, Tampa Bay, Washington.
You can even say
and
Boston now. Boston actually is so
Boston.
silently, they are a good team.
New York Rangers, to whatever extent you might have them.
Yeah, the only good thing about the Rangers right now is Lundqvist, and it's
Yeah.
like that's he's
He
been the
picked up his
anchor.
play significantly
Oh my
in
god,
the later
he
half of the
has.
season.
He's not so good this year.
Yeah. However, in the Western Conference, we have several teams that are jockeying for positions, including the last wild card spot between the Minnesota Wild and
That's
the
your team.
Colorado Avalanche,
Yep.
which I think has vaulted into the most interesting back and forth
yeah.
in the playoffs.
It's
jockeying for
it's
position
kind
this
of
year.
like right now. It's like we kind of already know who all the teams are going to be. Like it doesn't matter if certain teams go like 0-10 for the rest of the season. They will still have a playoff. They should
Yeah.
still have like a playoff spot and things like that. But I agree with you on that. That is going to be the most fun race, I think, to see, the most interesting part of this playoff picture to see. Like who will be the Wild or the Avalanche?
Exactly.
Because I mean, because funny to think about it, it's like both teams. I want to say 2 years ago were deadly. I remember when Colorado was like the 3rd seed in the West a couple years ago. They were a hard team to beat, and that was, I think, was in Patrick Wall's first season coaching them. And then the Wild were just on fire a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and they were great last year too. And then it's just, to see now both these teams like actually jockeying for that last wildcard spot, it's an interesting thing to see, like, again, from a couple years ago to now, but it's going to be an interesting and fun race to watch, I'll tell you that much.
I still continue to attest that after the trade deadline last season, for an entire calendar year, it seemed, the Wild were the best team
Oh my
in
God,
hockey.
yeah, they were.
It's just unfortunate that they couldn't really pull it all together in the playoffs. They lost to the Blackhawks.
I really hate the Blackhawks, I really do.
Don't we all?
Yeah,
Don't we all?
I think the only people that love the Blackhawks are Blackhawks fans.
They took out both of our teams.
in one playoff.
But going back to the Wild versus the Avalanche,
Yeah.
the Wild, they're currently atop the Avalanche. They lead them by a point for that
Cool.
crucial 8th spot. Right now, the Avalanche sit at 9. However, the Wild have only 8 games remaining. The Avalanche have 9 games remaining to make up those points. But let me tell you this. While I've said for a couple weeks now, I don't really think the Wild are going to do anything in the playoffs. They've really lowered their play, and they're not playing well, especially defensively. I do think they will get into the playoffs because of this. The Wild have 8 games remaining. Here are their opponents.
Okay, here we go.
They played the Calgary Flames twice.
Okay.
They played
Weak
the
team.
Colorado Avalanche. That is in Colorado. That is a very crucial game.
That is crucial.
But they play the Blackhawks, who are a good team. However, the Wild have had their number this season.
Yeah, they have
a winning
honestly,
record
and
against them.
it's funny because I remember, I would say about a month or two ago, the Blackhawks were like the top team, was like the toughest team to beat, and they've been getting whooped around by a couple of teams. Like they've been getting beat bad. Like
they're always right
they're
up
struggling.
there. And I think the Wild have had their number this season. They
Yeah.
played the Senators, they played the Red Wings, they played the Jets, and they played the Sharks. Of those teams, only the San Jose Sharks and the Chicago Blackhawks, which we just talked about, are the only teams that are currently in playoff position.
Yeah.
The Avalanche, they have 9 games remaining. However, those games are against the Philadelphia Flyers,
Ooh,
as we said, the
that's tough.
Minnesota Wild. They play the Predators twice.
That's
They
gonna be
play
a
the
tough one,
Blues twice.
Ooh, that's tough.
They play the Washington Capitals, which you just talked about, the best team
The
in
best
hockey.
team in the league. Yep.
The Dallas Stars, the best team in the Western Conference.
Ooh.
And the Ducks, who
Hey!
are in, what is it, fifth or fourth?
Yeah, we're right there. I mean, it's no matter what. I think it's like no matter what, we're gonna play the Kings in the first round, which I'm not excited about. But yeah, we're right there. We're like
So,
4th or 5th.
of the teams,
Wow.
every single one
Is
of
a
them
playoff
is a
team.
playoff team as of now. The Wild are an 8 seed. The Flyers are an 8 seed as well. The Predators are a 7th seed. But other than that, I mean, the Blues twice, the Capitals,
Those are top four,
the
top
Stars,
5
and
teams.
the Ducks. Those
Yeah.
are all I see
Actually,
losses.
the Blues, the Blues, Chicago, and Cavs is your top 3 seeds in the East and West, and then the Ducks are the 5th best in
Yep.
the West. So man,
Not to mention a dangerous Nashville team.
Wow,
A
yeah.
potentially dangerous Minnesota team if you get them on the right night.
yeah.
And the Flyers, I can't really understand how they're
Colorado
in the playoffs,
has to
but
play. Colorado has to play the best hockey they've been playing. They had to play the best hockey possible to get in the playoffs.
You're right. They absolutely can do it.
But-
because, as I said, the Wild are very beatable at the
It
moment.
all rests on, I think, honest to God, it's going to come down to that Wild Avalanche game. Who
It'll
wins
be
that.
very interesting. That's going to be this Saturday, the 26th.
Oof.
That will be a fun one. I know I'm going to be tuning in for that one. I don't have work. I don't believe I have anything else
you're
for CBS
set.
Sports.
You're
I'm going to
set.
sit down. I know it has to be broadcast on television.
I
right?
hope it is.
Saturday night, a hockey game between the two most interesting teams in hockey at the moment.
God, I hope so. It'd be a shame if it wasn't.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting team.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, we cannot wait for playoff hockey.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
man,
be
playoff hockey's gonna be
much
so
fun.
good this year. It's gonna be so
Do
good
we
this
have
year.
any updated thoughts on who we think is going to compete for the cup this year in the West and the East?
I mean, I would have said a couple weeks ago, yeah, the Ducks, they've been rolling, they won 11 straight, and now I think they've gone 6-4-1 in their past 11. They've struggled. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't think the Ducks are going to make it. I think they'll make it to the second or third round. I don't think they're going to get it. I don't think they're going to go to the cup this year. I would say probably Dallas or the Blues. Those are two of the really strong teams. I wouldn't be shocked if LA made it either. LA's always been a dangerous team. I don't think any of the lower seeds are going to make it. And I think for the East, I still look at the Capitals like this. They're a great regular season team, but they've never been good playoff wise. Doesn't matter how much experience Ovi and Holtby and Backstrom have. They're not a good playoff team, A, and B, TJ Oshie is notorious for shutting down in the playoffs. So if he can step his game up, I will give the Cavs up to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they could go to the East. I think they could go to the Cup.
'Cause they're that good.
If TJ Oshie can show up and if the Cavs can just pull all this experience together and be like, okay, we got this. But you look at other teams that they may have to face off against. A surprisingly loaded Boston Bruins team. A somewhat okay Rangers team that still has Lundqvist no matter what. And then you look at even like Tampa, even Florida, who no one thought was going to be good this year.
They're
Florida's like the
playing
Florida
great.
Fisty. Yeah, they've been playing great because
Yeah.
they're led by Jaromir Jagr.
Exactly.
And it's
The ageless
the
wonder.
ageless wonder Jaromir Jagr.
And the
It's
toothless
crazy.
wonder.
Yeah, that's true, man. He's missing a lot of teeth. I think any of these teams could easily upset the Cavs. I do. Compared to like the Blues and the in Dallas, for the 1-2 in the West, I want to say, you look at them, Dallas has all this experience, especially I remember last year they won 6 games against the Ducks. I mean, the Ducks did beat them in those 6 Ducks did beat them in 6, but they were a tough team to play against, and they have so much experience. And because they have a couple of Chicago Blackhawks players on that side now, they now have a Stanley Cup winning players on their squad. The Caps have no one on their squad that's won a Stanley Cup, as far as I know of. So, to be fair, I think the Cup will go back to the West this year. It has been in the West for the past 5 years. I think it'll be 6 in a row.
I tend to agree. I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning, for me, they have the best shot in the East.
Oh,
Just
man.
because I've always liked them. They're right there. They're number 2.
And they're such a young team too.
It is, and it's a very talented team
Very,
as well.
very.
I continue to say, even though for the most part their roster is pretty adequate, the New York Rangers still have a chance because Lundqvist is playing that well right now.
Definitely.
The Florida Panthers, obviously, but I haven't been able to see enough of them. I don't know what they're gonna do.
They're pretty okay. I mean, like they have those moments. They have their moments where it's like they're just really good, and then they're bad games. Like the Wild and the Ducks, pretty much. Like they have good games, and they just have really bad games. So
And on that note, yeah, I'm with you. 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said the Ducks are the favorite, even though they're not the 1 or 2 seed. That would be the Stars and the Blues.
oh yeah,
To go to the finals. I really thought they were a very great team. They were really hot. They had an incredible win-loss record over
they
the
were.
past couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy when you look at. Like I said, they won 11 in a row. They were just on fire. They're just demolishing these teams, and now it's like they kind of just like collapsed on themselves. And it's like now they're playing like how they did at the beginning of the season. It's like you don't want to have that kind of momentum going to the playoffs. You want to be hot going into the playoffs because you can keep that up. You go in cold, there's a chance you're gonna get swept. So
I think at the moment I'm going to go with Tampa Bay over St. Louis Blues in the finals.
I think I'm gonna go with the Stars, and I'll go with Boston, and I think Dallas will win their second cup in 7. I think it'd be a close series. But I don't know. I give that Dallas squad a lot of credit. I remember when we played them last year. Very physical, very rough and dirty team. Like dirty in a good way. Like they get it down to nitty gritty. Boston, I think, has just had a stellar year. No one's really been paying attention to them. They could easily upset anyone in the playoffs. But I give that experience to Dallas at the end of the day. So.
Cannot
We'll
wait.
see.
That'll be mid-April when these playoffs roll
Oh
around.
yeah, I can't wait for that.
Quick note. Did you see what happened in Major League Baseball with the Cuban national game?
Yeah, the Rays beat the Cuban national team 4-1.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. There's a lot of like political discussion going around that, and obviously there are a lot more important elements to it than that. But I think,
Yeah.
for the most part, this is like a positive step in terms of good relations. between
Definitely, yeah.
the US and
There's
Cuba.
some political controversy about it now, but I mean, it's so cool. I mean, baseball. I mean, no matter how much Cuba has always hated us or strongly disliked us, whatnot, Cuba's always been like big proponents of baseball. And let's be fair, a lot is I would say about a quarter of the best players we have seen in the past 25 years have been from Cuba. And
They have a
one of
strong
them,
presence
and
in the
one of
world,
them
yeah.
right now is Yasiel Puig of the LA Dodgers. I don't like the kid at all. I think he's full of himself, but I give him a lot of credit. He's a really good player, you know. So
He can swing a bat.
oh yeah, he can swing it all right. I just don't like him. Don't like his personality. the thing, and it's funny because I remember Mia got mad at me about it. She was like, "Why?" And I was like, maybe those who know, Mia's my fiance. And she was like, "Why don't you like him?" I said, "Because he has no right to be acting the way he does right now." In baseball is really the only sport in which there's an unspoken number of rules that you must respect when you go in there. And for him to be acting all flashy and whatnot in his first season, he's like, I remember like a lot of people got mad at him, because he hit a home run, he flung the bat. It's like, you don't do that as a rookie. You never do that as a rookie. You throw the bat to the ground and you just take your bases and you do that. That's it. But he wants to act all flashy and whatnot. So that's why I don't like him. I'm one of those proponents of the unspoken rules of baseball. Having played baseball, I know the unspoken rules.
To me, I'm on the opposite end. You can do what you as long as it's in the written rules. I don't have time or the patience to keep track of all these unwritten rules. To me, you go out, you hit the ball, you do whatever you want. If you hit a home run, you can do a handstand on the pitcher's mound if you want to.
I mean,
you've
that's
just
fun to
beaten
watch.
them. Yeah. Let's go move to the NFL real
Yes.
quick. The Browns, we talked about 2 weeks ago
man.
about the Houston Texans being close to a deal with Osweiler. It turns out like an hour or two after our show,
That was funny.
yeah, they completed a deal with Brock Osweiler.
4 years, $72 million, I think was what the deal was.
That is correct. And you immediately had the statement that was much too much.
It was like saying I texted that. I was like, Johnny, sign him. And you were like, holy crap, they did. I was like, yeah, 4 years, $72 million. And you texted me, oh, that's too much. And I said, way too much.
It's too much, but I think it's necessary. If you see what you see what I mean, they have
They have a
no other
quarterback.
options.
They have a quarterback that will be their starter. Yeah, that you have to fear will be their day one starter. Doesn't matter how much of a fight Brian Hoyer, right? He was the other.
Yeah.
He's the current. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if fight Brian Hoyer puts up. I think because of what Osweiler did, I think he will have that starting job. I agree that it's good. They finally have a starting quarterback for the next 4 years, pending injuries. I think he got overpaid though, honestly.
True. The thing for me, they're not in a position to draft one of the top 2 quarterbacks, and I doubt Paxton Lynch is really in the. He's not ready to start.
Yeah. Agreed.
RG3, I don't want him. I think Osweiler's better than RG3. I think he's better than Manziel at the moment.
Yeah, man, it's all good.
The verdict's still out on Kaepernick, but I know the Bill O'Brien, the Houston Texans head coach, he does his homework on these quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a coach. I can't say that I've scouted Brock Osweiler in his, 5 or 6 games that he played.
Yeah.
I'm certain that Bill O'Brien did, and he liked what he saw. He certainly talked to the quarterback before they signed him. So if Bill O'Brien has signed him to this deal, I gotta believe that it could be a success.
Yeah, that means like he has confidence in him.
Yeah.
So
they're putting a lot of money in this quarterback. Hopefully it works out. However, this does leave 2 teams, notably the Browns and the Broncos, floundering for a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Browns have Josh McCown. The Broncos recently traded with the Philadelphia Eagles for Mark Sanchez.
That's right.
Neither of the teams would like to begin their seasons with those 2 guys as a starting quarterback.
I agree.
However, apparently they both really like Robert Griffin III.
I heard about those reports. Yeah, apparently they both courted RG3. I think the Browns had him out there for a couple of days and whatnot. I think same thing with Denver. They just had him out looking at the facilities, just talking to him and whatnot. I'm curious to see who he would land with.
I am as well. I think it's going to be a very interesting deal because while the Browns have definitely seemed like the stronger contender for Robert Griffin III, they're also in contention to draft number 2. We've heard reports saying that even if they sign RG3, quarterback at number 2 is not out of the question.
Yeah.
However, as somebody who's experienced with the draft, I know that any information between now and April 29th
means nothing.
means literally nothing. It's all about putting out false information. So they could just be saying that we really like Goff, we really like Wentz, just to get somebody to move up or trade with them or what have you.
I'm really curious about these reports, especially with RG3, because I remember the reports going around that Kaepernick was like, yeah, you know what, Hugh Jackson and the Browns, he wants to play for them. And
how many people can say that?
I mean, there's not that many. So I mean, it was. I found that very odd in a way that. He agent has said he wants to play for the Browns. He wants to play for Hugh Jackson. But yet the Browns haven't really done anything yet, but they said they get RG3. I mean, I think that's just a bad move by the Browns. For me, I would be immediately in talks with the front enders like, okay, what do you want? We don't have that many guys. What do you want? We want Kaepernick as our quarterback. Because, I mean, yes, you may lose a draft. Yes, you may lose the number 2 overall draft pick. But... And again, this goes back to my own thing. Kaepernick is a very good quarterback. He just was in the wrong system, and he had one really good coach and then one really bad coach in John Harbaugh and then Jim Tomsula. Not trying to mean Tom Sula. I'm just saying.
I think we're all saying that.
Okay, fair enough. But so it's. I think he had. Like I said, but he led the team to, and I keep going back to this. He has Super Bowl experience. He does, and not many quarterbacks that are possible free agents can say that. And I think any team would want a Super Bowl experienced quarterback. And my thing is, like I said, I'm just surprised that the Browns haven't at least gotten a package together and be like, okay, hey, we'll offer you guys all this. Give us Kaepernick.
I tend to agree, mostly because when you look at Colin Kaepernick, there's nothing really like... He had a lot of success, and there's no real tangible reason that it dropped off. For RG3, you have a very clear reason that his leg got turned into mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that knee injury was just
against the Seattle Seahawks.
That's one way to put it.
And I don't think I truly believe that is the cause of all his problems. He can't play the same way he used to anymore. He can't even move. He can't drop back as well. He can't plant that foot.
But having a full year off, though, he should be fine at this point. Not saying he'll be back to where he was, but he's at least, we know for sure he's at 100%. Like, he is ready to go and whatnot.
You would hope so.
Because and the other thing is this, too, how I look at this, and again, the reason why I'm shocked they haven't done anything yet. Let's say the Browns said, hey, we'll give you, like, McCown or, like, a third-string quarterback, one of our, like, random position player, and our number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
That works out for the 49ers because, yes, they lose their franchise quarterback in Colin Kaepernick, but they would then possibly have the 2 and 5 pick.
7.
2 and 7, right?
2 and 7,
No,
yeah.
that was 5. Okay, it's 2 and 7. Still, though, that's 2 picks in the top 10. There are only 5. There are only, like, 5. Between them. You know what I'm trying to say. They have the 2 and the 7, so they could get a quarterback. They get from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that would be the
I think
guy,
we're I
should they
think
have
we're
that
all
pick.
in agreement at this point. He's gonna be the first quarterback to go.
Not an agreement. I think it's gonna really
Okay,
depend on
okay.
the
He's
team.
gonna be one of the first two to go.
Yes,
One of the
yes.
first two to go. Okay. The 7th pick, they can get whatever they need. A new starter wide receiver to go with their new quarterback, then a new offensive lineman to help protect them, someone on the defense to help, like just get the defense going, get something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the perfect solution, I think, for the 49ers. I just don't understand why this deal has not happened yet.
Here's the thing. I don't think that Colin Kaepernick is worth a first-round pick.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Would you? If he was in this draft right now against Goff and Wentz, I wouldn't take him first overall, considering all the problems that he's had and the fact that he's a little bit older as well. Plus, he's got an $11 million price tag that Goff and Wentz are not going to have.
True, I agree.
Plus, I don't know. If that were to happen, I would assume that the 49ers and Browns would swap picks at the very least, and then there would be some kind of a trade.
Too, yeah.
So that the Browns would have the 7, the 49ers would have the 2, and maybe a player or a second rounder.
True that.
Because that act of moving up, that's going to be crucial. Because if they do give away their quarterback, they're gonna
draft a quarterback.
like we said, Blaine Gabbert is not the guy you want.
I mean, he did pretty good that last game of the season, but
Yeah, he did. I'm not starting Blaine Gabbert week 1. I don't care if he threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm not starting Blaine Gabbert. It's just not going to happen.
probably
for
how
me.
they get kind of game against like a group of toddlers.
Yeah. Like, that was against a middle school team, the JV team. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. All this, I just love it. As a draft guy who's excited about all these quarterback possibilities, it thrills me. I'm hyped for it. Where's Goff going to go? Where's Wentz going to go? Where are they going to get drafted? 7, 2, 4, 1? Who knows?
April 29th can't come soon enough.
It really can't come soon enough. I'm so hyped for it.
I know.
In the meantime, you had something you want to talk about up there?
I did. Man, did you? Okay, I'm a huge fan of racing.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, no.
Did you see what happened in the Australian Grand Prix?
I saw you clogging up my Facebook timeline. Other than that, no.
Hey, look, I was live tweeting a race. It was the first time I actually stayed up to watch a Grand Prix because it was in Australia, so it was like 2 a.m. here was like 3 p.m. over there. I was like, it was like killing me, boy.
For those not scouring your Facebook page, clue us in.
Oh,
What happened?
man. What a crazy race it was. Try and make like a long story short for those that don't watch Formula One. Mercedes has been dominating the past 2 years. Lewis Hamilton, who is a British driver, is a now 3-time world champion, back-to-back champion, first champion to defend his world title since Sebastian Vettel did it from 2010 to 2014. First British guy to do it since like the 80s. And crazy race because it's been Mercedes and Ferrari for the past 2 years, and now all of a sudden Ferrari almost had a chance to win it all. But they screwed up the pit strategy. One of them had an engine failure, and Mercedes goes 1-2 once again. I'm like, damn it. But there was a bit of positive news out of all this. Mm-hmm. Haas, Gene Haas, you know who Gene Haas is, right?
I did not.
Okay. He's a race guy.
I was about to say, I assume he's a race car driver.
Yeah, no,
given
he's a really good race guy, and he put together Haas F1, which is the first American team in 30 years to compete in Formula One. Crazy, right?
Exactly.
They finished. Well, one of their cars DNF'd. He got in an accident. That's one of the video I pulled up, and I was like, there's no point in showing a video because there's a horrific wreck that a former world champion somehow walked away from. Like, I don't know how he did it. But so one of their cars though finished 6th.
Oh wow,
that's impressive for a brand new. Like, they had no one backing them up. They had a brand new team, and they finished 6th.
American as well.
Yes. I mean, it was a French driver,
well,
but it was an American-based team. Like, that's really impressive.
That is really impressive.
Yeah, it was a really fun Grand Prix. Next one, I think, is next weekend. They're in Bayonne.
Bayonne.
Yep. It's going to be a really fun season.
Sounds very fancy.
Yeah.
We'll count on you to clue us in.
This is going to be a really interesting season. Just because it's now Ferrari can now compete with Mercedes, and we do have the new American team that finished 6th, which is really huge. Williams, Mercedes is kind of struggling a little bit. There are a couple of surprises, like Red Bull Racing was actually really good. And there's now apparently a controversy going on between their two drivers who are both really young, and they both won the spotlight, and they were both basically almost ready to beat the crap out of each other after the race. And even one of the drivers complained, saying, this team's strategy screwed me over. So there's now a whole lot of new things going on in that in F1. It's gonna be a really exciting season. I'm excited to see what happens with it. I hope it's not another Mercedes like got dominated season, but we'll see what happens. And you pulled up one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in any basketball game. Period.
I did. I think this is the next thing that we should talk about because it's simply too amazing. I don't know about you. Have you been following the NCAA tournament very well? To me, that's college basketball is one of the things I have to cut out because I'm doing CNU TV and I'm watching a little NBA and NHL and the draft and all of that.
Oh man, this has been such a great tournament so far.
It really has, and I think the highlight, without a doubt, so far has been Texas A&M over the Northern Iowa Panthers. When was the last time you ever heard of the Northern Iowa Panthers?
Right.
Let me tell you what happened. The Texas A&M Aggies, they were down 12 points with 44 seconds remaining in regulation.
Yep.
And down 10 points with less than 30 seconds to go.
And what did they do, John?
They rally back, not just in regulation, but they push them into a second overtime where they finally get the win, 92-88.
That's crazy.
That is
such a great game.
That is simply amazing. I cannot underscore literally how impressive that is.
Oh my God, it is.
10 points in 30 seconds is
unheard of in basketball.
Literally
honestly.
Unheard of, especially when you're like towards the end of the game. If it's in the last 30 seconds of the game, this is even crazier.
Yeah.
And the most impressive thing to me is that something that I've been saying for a long time that I hate is the fouling at the end of basketball games. Because it's like, well, I got to foul them, otherwise we're not going to get the ball back. No, just press the inbound. If you get a basket, press the inbound and just do it well. And this was something
exactly what they did at University of Northern Illinois.
They didn't need to foul.
Iowa.
And I just don't think that fouling is a effective method because you're giving
that
them points.
Game proves that you just have to be really good on the inbound defense, and you can do it. Because I remember one of the things they showed was they immediately inbounded, and he immediately had two guys just on him, and he could not move at all.
Yeah.
And it was impressive, that defense that Texas A&M had.
Like, just flock to the ball. It doesn't matter if somebody gets open, like, on a crazy play and scores, because you're down 10 points with 30 seconds to go.
Exactly.
You're not going to, like, win, but just by playing regulation basketball.
I agree.
So to me, I'm very happy for this because maybe other teams will start to do this and say, "Hey, let's not foul. Let's
actually
play
push
some
the
trap.
defense,
Let's play some press, and maybe we can actually get some real." And the impressive thing was they didn't even shoot 3-pointers.
You know what was really impressive?
What?
That I saw?
What?
Oh, the Wisconsin Xavier game.
Tell me about that one.
Oh my God.
I didn't catch that one.
Such a good back and forth game. And for me, I was happy I finally got to see a buzzer beater in the NCAA men's tournament because Xavier tied it up on a great three. They did. And then with 2 seconds to go, Wisconsin called times out. They got the ball. And what do? They inbounded to this guy who's hit like half of his 3-point shots that are like game-winning shots. He's hit like half of his in his career. They inbound it. They give the guy too much room. I'll be honest. With a guy like him, you got to be on him. But they allowed him to get the ball, actually go to the side. And yeah, he had a guy on him, but he hit a fadeaway three, like 0.5 seconds left, and drains it. Just completely drained it. And the best shot they had of that whole game was Bill Murray was there, like repping Xavier. And he had this look of just distraught on his face. It was the most hilarious thing I've seen from like Bill Murray in such a long while. It was hilarious. But like I said, it's been a really good tournament though. It's been a fantastic tournament. A lot of upsets I can't wait to see how the rest of it goes.
It has been a really funny or a really fun tournament. I'm looking at the image now. This one. Oh, this one right here.
That one. He looks so done.
Yeah, Bill Murray is sitting in the middle of a crowd of Xavier fans, and he is absolutely he's dismayed. He's looking at the side, and it's not a look of anger or overwhelming sadness. It's that's a man that's lost everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was such a it was such a great game to watch. That was just a lot of fun. But do you want to talk about the tournament for a little bit? Like, who do you want to predict who you think is gonna be winning the next round? I got the next games lined up.
All right, let's do this.
The Sweet 16. So we have all 4 number 1 seeds still in play, which is kind of impressive.
That's true. I know Michigan State knocked a lot of people's brackets out of the water.
That's why I didn't do one this year, because I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't feel coming with this Michigan State and other teams, and what do you know? I was right. So, first one, Kansas and Maryland. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Kansas, simply because I know nothing about either team.
Fair enough. Miami and Villanova.
I'm going to go with Miami, and I actually have a reason on this one.
Miami is actually a really good team.
I've liked Miami for a very long time. I think in my senior year of high school, I actually picked them to be in the finals, maybe win it all. But yeah, I've liked Miami as a basketball team for a very long time.
And they're actually a really good team this year. I think no, that's gonna be a close one with Nova, but I think Miami can pull off the upset there.
Yeah,
Oregon,
the 3 seed actually the underdog in this game.
Oh yeah, Oregon and Duke. I have Oregon by a mile and a half. Duke, I think, just plays too inconsistently.
I have Duke. I always got to go with Coach K in these kind of situations.
I agree with you on that usually, but I don't know the way they've been playing. I mean, you figure they barely escaped the round of 64 against a 12 team. I mean, like they've just struggled. So I think it's gonna be Oregon all the way. Texas A&M and Oklahoma. I go with Texas A&M on this. I think that game gives them so much momentum, and that defense I think will shut down the Sooners.
I know they're riding high right now, but think about how they almost lost to Northern Iowa. They pretty much lost to Northern Iowa. Let's talk about that. Oklahoma's been a really good team all year. They have Buddy Hield, who's one of the best shooters in college basketball this year. Almost said college football. Not the best shooter in college football. No. Definitely in basketball, though. So I'm going to go OU, Boomer Sooner.
So it's fun to watch. It's fun is that the South and the West both have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 seeds. But then you get the East and the Midwest. It is completely different. You have a 1, a 5, a 6, and a 7, a 1 and a 4, and an 11 and a 10 seed.
Yep.
Shocking. Northern Carolina, Indiana. Who do you got?
I got North Carolina because they're a team that a lot of people are talking about winning the whole thing.
I agree with that. At North Carolina, they have such great rebounding, good shooting. I have them over Indiana. Notre Dame and Wisconsin. I say Wisconsin because they're the ones that had that buzzer beater game, and I always say buzzer beaters usually can ride that momentum. That kid, that Koenig kid, he's a fantastic shooter. I watched them play. Good team. I think they could beat Notre Dame.
Got to go with Notre Dame because not only are they in my conference, the ACC, but hate Wisconsin. I'm a Minnesota fan. I hate everything about Wisconsin. So I can't stand by them. Go Fighting Irish.
UVA versus Iowa State. UVA.
I hate UVA as a Tech fan, but the statistics say they have the best chance at winning the title, and I got to believe that they can handle Iowa State.
I think Iowa State will make it a close game, but I think UVA. And last but not least, the most unlikely matchup in the Sweet 16, the 11-seeded Gonzaga versus the 10-seeded Syracuse Orange. I go Gonzaga on this one. I think they're very underrated coming into this tournament. They have blown out their competition in the first 2 rounds. I go Gonzaga Bulldogs with the upset over Syracuse and taking on UVA in the Elite 8.
This is the sound of me throwing up my hands. It's an 11 and a 10 seed.
It's completely unpredictable.
I'll go Syracuse just to be different.
Okay.
Let's see. We'll see how we match up in these rounds.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to watch.
But yeah, that is gonna be a fun one to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Another thing we have a little bit of NBA.
Yeah.
Zach Piggott.
Yeah.
Are you aware of a little-known basketball player named Kevin Durant? I believe his name is Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been a really good team for several years now. Well, not several, like a handful of years now.
Because they've built that franchise around him and Westbrook.
They have.
I still completely disagree with them trading away Harden. I still think it's one of the worst ideas they've ever had, but still.
Yeah, because had they not done that, they would have
won. They would have won the championship. I bet they won the championship now if they would have kept James Harden.
Well, they would have 3 of the top 10 players in the NBA, arguably. Westbrook and Durant, certainly. Harden, he's right there.
I completely agree with that.
But there's a lot of this talk about Kevin Durant leaving because maybe he's unhappy with the situation in Oklahoma City and he doesn't necessarily like almost being. It sounds weird. He's almost second fiddle to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has been playing out of his mind. He has
oh my God, has he?
He has 5,000 triple doubles just this week. And I mean, he really has stepped everything up. His rebounding, his assists. He's always been a great scorer and a rebounder, but his assists are just amazing this year.
Oh man,
as well as they were last year when he was when he led the league in scoring. I believe he did.
Yeah,
first or second. But the question is, even though they have 2 very good players, they have a new coach who was supposed to make them better in the postseason. So I guess we'll have to wait about that.
Still don't understand that move too. That was like when the Cavaliers let go of their previous when they let go of David Black, because it's like it's such a good that's so a great team. And the same thing, I remember when they fired the Thunder head coach, I was like, what are you doing? You're firing a winning head coach. That makes no sense.
Not only a winning head coach, a guy who has had success, who's made it to the playoffs and advanced in them a little bit.
Yeah. Who got into the finals 2011.
Yep,
that's when the Heat won their first.
Yep.
No, it was 2012, was it? Because it was 2012, 2013 with the back-to-back Heat titles. Then they lost to San Antonio in 2014. Yeah, that was it, I think. Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
No, because 14 was the year that they lost to the Spurs. 13 and 12 were their title years.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Because 2015 was this was last year. That was LeBron's first year back with the
Miami Heat beat. Oh my God! Why doesn't it say what the second team is? Heat versus Thunder, Game 5, 2012. Yeah, I was right. There it is.
You right.
Hey,
You right.
it's all.
Okay.
I'll take that one.
So you're right. Okay, you're correct. But yeah, they've been around for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
However, they've sort of started to. I can't say slip because they're the third best team in a historically great conference.
Oh my God, yes.
This year, but
They just haven't played that well this year.
they really haven't. They've underwhelmed, which is strange to say because they have really great players and
And
they played well.
the other problem too with them as well, and this is the thing that people are pointing out as a big problem, and that's why they might go out in the first round, is they give up so many fourth quarter leads.
Yeah.
They are horrific at holding the game in the fourth. They honestly are. Like
It's not just the losses; it's the heartbreaking manner in which they lose.
if someone were to say to me, hey, like it's like, oh, the Thunder are up by 20 in the fourth, hey, come on, let's go home, the game's done. I'm like, no, the game's not done. The Thunder are going to screw this up somehow. I know they are.
Exactly, and it's been consistent like that all season in their losses in the fourth quarter. And to that, I ask you, Kevin Durant, he's out of his contract at the end of this year. He can go wherever he likes. Zach, do you think he'll stay in Oklahoma City? Or will he
No,
venture
and
elsewhere?
from the reports I've read, and I like what the one of them is that he goes to Boston.
Mhm.
I think he'd be the best fit for Boston, honestly. Boston is a young team that is actually good.
They're coming up.
They have built a solid foundation with non-star players. Like, not trying to say that to be a mean way to the Boston Celtics. I'm sure Boston Celtics fans know. Like, their
I'm sure
players
they'll
by the back of
readily
their
admit
hand.
it if it means
Yeah,
they can get
but
Kevin
at the same
Durant.
time, though, it's like they don't have that star player like your Kobe, your LeBron, your Kevin Durant, your Dwayne Wade, your Dirk Nowitzki, or anything like that. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if Boston came to him and said, hey, we will make you our star player. We will do anything to make you our star player. We can get you to the finals. We can get you your title. Because they've done it before. I mean, yes, they had the big three of Pierce, Rondo, and Allen and Garnett. I mean, Rondo was just up and coming at that time.
Yeah.
But still, though, Boston's been able to do it before. And with such a young team, that they could just build on. And there's also a thing too, like there's also a thing where these are such great players. They could also easily trade them away and get even equal or even better players on this squad. And when you think about it, I agree with what you're saying. Westbrook's outplaying him. Not to be mean to certain players, players will usually want to go though where they're like the sole star because it ups them by a lot. It ups because like they're the main attraction of it, and Boston needs something like that. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if he said, "Yep, I'm going to Boston," and it would be like a 5-year, $125 million deal. Boston is willing to pay that money, and I think they'll easily give that to him.
Right. The NBA, the salary cap is going to jump tremendously
Oh my God, it
next
is
year
good.
with the new contract going in. So everybody's going to have a bunch of money to pay Kevin Durant or whomever else if they so desire it. And you're right. I think part of this discussion that we're having is Westbrook because he kind of has outplayed Durant.
By a lot.
Starting when Durant went out with that injury and Russell Westbrook really took over.
He
that
stepped up.
franchise.
He stepped up his game.
He almost led them to the playoffs after a miserable start to the season. And you're right. This is why we absolutely applauded Dwayne Wade when the big three in Miami came together because he willingly said, LeBron, you're better than me. You take this team. We're going to win a couple titles. And so they did. That was his decision. He was a lifelong Heat player, and he stepped down. He said, I'm going to be second fiddle to you. Kevin Durant can't say that.
He can't.
He's
Not
one of the best players in the league.
to say it's in a mean way to KD, but he can't say that. I
No.
agree with that. And I think
And Russell Westbrook's talented enough that he won't do it either.
he can carry a whole team on his back.
Exactly.
honestly.
I think he's one of the top 5 players in the league.
He definitely is by a long shot. I mean, I know there can be certain teams that will say, hey, Durant, come here. Like, and you could easily argue Toronto will try and, court him. You can even say maybe the Cavaliers could, with LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin. Even though like apparently there's some stuff going on with LeBron because he unfollowed the Cavs Twitter, so I was like, what the? Like, okay, we know something weird's going on there. I still think that at the end of the day, I think Boston, is really the only team that can say we need a star player like you. We have a playoff capable team. You come here, you're going to be the main attraction. You're the center of this team. We will build around you. We have the foundation. We will make whatever trades are needed. We will make you our focal point. And I think that's what KD wants to hear. And when he hears those words, he's going to say, give me the contract.
Right.
I'll sign it.
I think another big team to consider is, like you said, the Toronto Raptors, who are right there with the Cavaliers as the best team in the East.
It's a funny thing in a way, but it's like no one expected the Raptors to be like this like 3 years ago, and they're only like a couple of games back from the Cavs. They are fighting them for that top seed in the East.
You add that they're going to have the calorie sap space next year to add a guy like Durant or obviously Durant's the biggest, or somebody. But yeah, they could very well be the clear favorite in a very easy conference in the East next year. They would have a very, very easy road.
Imagine
to the
a guy,
finals.
and that's the other thing to think about too. Imagine a guy like KD, who is such a talented guy, who plays in such a difficult conference right now. Him in the East, he'd be running over teams like Brooklyn
question.
or the Magic. And sorry if I'm blanking on team names. I don't watch the NBA all that much like that. Even like the Heat, who have struggled because Bosch has been out with the blood clots in his lungs. Thank God he's okay.
Yeah.
And Wade is just getting up in age, so he's getting a little bit older and whatnot. I mean, the Heat are the team that they weren't 2 years ago, obviously because LeBron left. But yeah, I mean, yeah, in a much weaker conference, KD would just shine and light them up. You know he would. So.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to watch. I hope he stays in Oklahoma City because I really tie them together in my mind. Oklahoma City and Kevin Durant, even more so than Westbrook. But
I agree with that.
We'll see. Something will probably have to change depending on the playoff record if they go out in the first, maybe second round.
Oh no, if they go in the first or second, I think KD's done. I think if they can make it to the Western Conference Finals, which I don't think is happening, considering you look at the way
There's two teams that are markedly better.
Oh yeah, way better. That's the Spurs and the Warriors, man. What two teams those are. But I think we're gonna see an exit kind of similar to LeBron, where you see him just take the jersey off, throw it to the ground, and then that's it. Bye. He's done. Simple as that.
Interesting stuff to watch.
Oh yeah. All right.
Up next,
draft.
As we do with many shows, final couple of minutes we're going to devote to the NFL draft. Here in this segment, we're going to be talking about wide receivers. This is the third position set. Wide receivers, I think, are my favorite position to evaluate because it's such a sexy position. They're like athleticism, speed, power, the ability to catch. Like everybody loves wide receivers. They're
your true playmakers.
They're a very fun position to watch.
Agreed.
This year, I think it's a little bit of a down year, simply because we've had great wide receiver classes in the past. But I don't think it's a weak class like everybody's been painting it as. We're going to start off with Laquan Treadwell, who everybody has been painting as kind of the consensus number one overall guy ever since the beginning of the college football season. To me, they're right. He's a first-round talent. But I've seen a lot of mocks of him to the 49ers at 7 and to the Rams at 15.
Yeah.
To me, that is a reach. I don't think to me, he's a 20 to 30 talent. Something around there. You keep hitting.
I do. I keep hitting the stupid thing. I keep forgetting how long my legs are.
I keep thinking that it's somebody on the door, so I look back every time. No, it's nobody.
I keep forgetting how long my legs are, actually.
But yeah.
So you don't see a team like possibly drafting him up earlier than that. Okay, let's run this for a minute though. The Ravens do need some kind of help on offense. You see the Ravens taking him like at the 4th seed, at the 4th spot?
No, not at all. To me, wide receiver is a position you don't reach for. Quarterbacks you reach for, offensive linemen you reach for, defensive ends maybe to an extent you reach for. A wide receiver is somebody that you don't reach for. You take him where he's available if he's right in that spot and you guys like him, but you absolutely never reach for a wide receiver. If he falls to you, that's perfect. You have no qualms about taking him. But to me, Laquan Treadwell, I don't think anybody in this class belongs in the top 10. I will say though, if we run down my my big board of wide receivers, I have oh gosh, I actually don't have them all ranked yet.
John.
But I can tell you certainly number one overall, I have Josh Doctson from TCU, which a lot of people have in the 2nd or 3rd spot.
I remember watching him play. He's a really good
exactly.
wide receiver.
He is so good in the sense that this is an underrated quality. He's just good at catching the football.
Yeah.
You can't say that about everybody in this class, is that they're just good at catching the football. I saw one drop from him, and it was a very, very short pass. It was a laser, and he had just looked back for the ball. And his hands are really solid. He's great on the deep ball. He's great in short and intermediate. He's very complete. He's got speed for days. He's got downfield quickness, and he's got the quick feet to change direction on the routes.
Yeah.
And he just uses his body. He's a big-bodied receiver. He can get the separation that he needs. To me, he doesn't have that much route variety. He played in TCU, which is not exactly a pro-style offense.
Yeah.
But to me, he's still clearly, with the physical skill set that he has, he's definitely the number one receiver. After that, we have Laquan Treadwell, and a surprise pick for me, Michael Thomas from Ohio State.
Wow.
Who a lot of people have as like a second-round guy. I have him in the same range as Laquan Treadwell, simply because he's very athletic, incredibly so, very fast, and he does have good hands. He really competes for the ball. But to me, he's got a mediocre route variety, and he uses a lot of double moves, which I think will definitely get old in the NFL, and they take a long time. Longer than just making a smooth cut.
Yeah, because that might screw up the quarterback's timing and whatnot.
Exactly. And you got to be out there. You got to make your route, and you got to be open. But I still think he's a tremendous talent. So I have him at number 3, tied at number 3 with Laquan Treadwell. After that, we go another surprise, Corey Coleman from Baylor.
Wow.
Who I had been down on simply because he played for Baylor, and I hate these horrible spread offensive players coming into the draft because I think they're not ready. But he actually showed a lot of incredible physical skill set. He's incredibly athletic. He reminds me of not a Tavon Austin guy, maybe an Allen Robinson type athleticism. Incredibly athletic, like a Marquise Lee. He had really good hands. He's probably one of the best route runners in this draft, which I was certainly not anticipating upon watching him. But yeah, I think he comes in at number 4. And I've got a ton of other guys here, but one guy I will definitely talk about real quick is that Will Fuller, Notre Dame. A lot of people have been talking about him as a first-round talent, and he ran really well at the Combine.
But
to me, he is so freaking limited.
yeah.
He has a deep ball. He's got downfield speed. He's a great deep threat, and he's got pretty good body control. He definitely improved that over the course of the season, and he can lay out for the deep balls. But to me, the dude simply doesn't catch the football well enough for me to draft him in the first 2 rounds. I don't think I ever saw him more than 4 times throughout my entire watching of him catch the ball with his hands. He always catches it with his body, which is dangerous in the NFL because that allows more time for the cornerback to come in and knock the ball loose.
True that.
So you got to catch it with your hands. He doesn't. He's not a great route runner, and he had very little success on it unless it was a fly route.
So you see him going like 3rd, 4th.
3rd round to me would be accurate. I think that's where he deserves to be. Ted Ginn of the Carolina Panthers. Great downfield speed. He's a very good deep threat. In the right offense, he's a very good deep threat.
Oh, yeah.
But you've seen him over the course of the season drop several balls. I think Ted Ginn Jr. is a perfect comparison to Will Fuller. And the last guy I want to touch on before we leave is a guy you may know. His name is Braxton Miller from Ohio State.
All right.
Yeah, to me, he was the Virginia Tech game. It was the first game of the season. I know I watched it. Very sad as the Hokies lost. But that was the most important game for me because when he came in that game, he was so rough. Like, he couldn't run routes very well. He was still the incredible athletic playmaker that we know, but he just wasn't ready to be a wide receiver. Over the course of the season, he improved so much, and that lets me think that the sky is the limit for this guy. I can't justify taking a guy who's played receiver for
only
just one season in the first round, but I think you could very easily, if you find a team that is enamored with him and the athletic ability, he could very easily wind up the second round.
So where do you have him going?
He's a second-round prospect to me. It's hard to say early, middle, late. But I will say, do not be surprised if somebody takes him in the first. Tail end of the first, somebody might like him.
Could you see him, like teams using him as, like, their trick play guy? Kind of like Antoine Randall. Because I remember he did a lot with the Steelers when they would Ben would pitch it back to him, and he would just chuck the ball down.
Yeah, Antoine Randall, Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, I forgot about Sanu.
All these kind of guys. Jerick McKinnon. Yeah, he can definitely still throw the football. Obviously, his athleticism and his skill as a wide receiver has improved so much that you want him there. But
do you see that being a reason why a team may pick him up early? Is that because he has that dual threat, or do you think that they should only look at him solely for his wide receiver capabilities?
Can't look at him solely for that. I think the ability as a dual threat guy certainly plays in, but you would hope to not play him at quarterback because he's really not. He can throw the ball. He's like a Mohamed Sanu kind of guy. He can throw the ball if need to be on a trick play. I wouldn't want him to be my quarterback.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I like I said, do not be surprised if a team that really, really likes him takes him at the tail end of the first round or trades back up in to get him. It could happen.
Also, can't we see how bad Sanchez fails at Denver? So
We'll definitely see that.
most
All right,
definitely we will.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. It is 1:50, which means I got to go to class. So
And I do too.
Zach has to go to class. So this is therefore the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. We will be on Friday for the Super
lot
Overpower
of big
Hour.
gaming news that's been going on, mainly when Nintendo went out. I'm excited to talk about that.
Zach
And
says
then-
there's a lot of big news.
Yes, and then next week we'll tell me more about the NCAA men's tournament. We'll be getting through the Elite Eight. Oh no, through the Sweet 16 Elite Eight, I believe, this weekend.
Yep.
We'll get through that and
A whole bunch of other stuff. It's gonna be
NHL.
a great week for sports. Yep,
Oh, yeah.
hockey's going to be finishing up.
oh man,
Can't wait. All right. So thank you for tuning in, captains. Catch us on YouTube. Catch us on Friday on the Super Overpower Hour. And thank you for watching.
catch you around.
You said we should look out further.